Alrighty, we are here on C1 getting ready for Mall Goths versus Nerds to start. And I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that there may be a small delay to the start time as we are waiting for our medics to take care of some important business. Stay tuned. 11 minutes to Derby on C1. I just received word and see that we have a medic back on C1. So thank you to our fabulous medic staff. Looks like they are ready for us here on
Louder. Going. Tell me when. Check, check. How's the sound? A little more. More. Tell me when. Going. Keep help.
All right, welcome to C1. We're just about to get this game of roller derby started, and in black we have the Mall Goths, and skating in white we have the Nerds. We'll do our best. There's been a few roster changes, so we'll try to give you a rundown of who's out on the track. Skating for the Mall Goths today, we have number 00 Mage, number 14 Activist, number 1420 Lala, 151 Cope, number 25 Storm, number 3037 Ukulele, 9001 Brat, and then I also saw numbers 1414 Kid Radical, number 555 281 200 762 779 and 442 out there, but I don't have names to go with every number. First jam, first lead goes to 00 Mage of the Mall Goths.
Number 8. Make their way through. And out now. That jam called off.
We're gonna try a little microphone switcheroo over here and see if that helps make my co-announcer a little bit more audible for everyone here on C1. We've got Ukulele lined up against Kitty out on the jam line. Both jammers are fighting real hard for space, but the blockers are doing a great job containing those jammers and keeping things relatively slow.
We've got lead jammer for Nerds, number 13 Kitty.
And a star pass to number 15 Max for the Mall Goths.
Points for the Nerds. Let's try to get through their roster really quick here before our next jam. We might be missing some folks, so we'll keep an eye out. But right now we're looking at 131 Carcass, 302 Ian Malcontent, 43 Jax, 71 Nookie, 23 Deadbolt, 32 Mini Fridge, 314 Pi R Scared, 281 Andrea the Giant.
Looks like Andrea the Giant up against Kid Radical for the Mall Goths. I always love it when a challenge bout has such great teamwork. These walls are sticking together, working together, contain jammers, and I love to see it.
Nice defense out here so far. Good hits.
Andrea the Giant was looking for space on the outside, but it was denied with a big drawback. And it looks like Kid Radical has been awarded a late lead call. There's a little bit of clarification there for the officials. Glad to see them taking the time it needs to get the calls right. 4 points on the board.
Andrea the Giant still working in the back of the pack here. Get drawn back a little bit.
Nice drawn out pack here. Excellent work by the blockers to keep everyone in play. And I spy a official signaling a star pass.
Nice little apex jump there.
That was the Nerds passing the star to number 43, Jax. But that jam is called off. 7 points to Mall Goths brings us to 15 points to Nerds at 4 points.
Shout out to our sponsor, Rydell. You can visit the Antic booth and get fit for the versatile AR2 and lightweight jet carbon. High quality roller skates, manufacturer making skates that are made to move you.
All right, we've got number 200 Pandemic skating as jammer for the Mall Goths. But lead has already been awarded to the Nerds. I spy number 293, Rusty Foxidation, with lead jammer status for the Nerds.
Pandemic now through on their initial. But Rusty's going to call that off.
Nice little 4 points there for the Nerds. Fun fact here, we've had even split of lead jammer calls between these two teams, back and forth. We'll see if they continue alternating whose turn it is to have lead jammer. Mage is back on the line for the Mall Goths. Up against Kitty. I believe that matchup we saw the first time around.
Kitty out for lead for the Nerds.
Nice little hip whip move there on the inside by Kitty to score lead jammer. But we're going to see a quick little call off by Kitty because they knew Mage was right behind them. And they were successful in holding Mage scoreless. So Nerds 2 points.
Good awareness there. Mage was coming up hot in the back of that pack. It's good call off timing. Number 8 back on the jam line for Nerds.
We've got number 380, Concealed Carry, jamming for the Mall Goths.
The number 8 out with lead for the Nerds.
Small pack out there on turn 2. It looks like we have everybody all bunched up together. Both jammers putting up points that pass.
And taking some direction from the bench. Number 8 calls it off for the Nerds. Looks like 4 for Nerds and 2 for Mall Goths.
Yeah, the Mall Goths managed to snag 1 skater's point on the track and the box point from the penalty box. We still had a Nerd skater sitting there, so they were awarded 2 points for that jam.
Those box points. Started with a bit of a scrum in the back, but now we're getting stretched out a bit here.
Big run back by the Nerds, but it doesn't end up working in their favor. It looks like we have activists snagging lead jammer status for the Mall Goths.
And we've got the pivot going to the box for the Nerds.
That was a great little hop on the outside to get reset there by Activist. Foxidation still working real hard out here in turn 4, looking for a path through, but instead is awarded a high block. Yeah.
Got a nice little power jam situation going for the Mall Goths now. Maybe this will cheer them up a little bit.
You know, I'm not sure. From what I understand, if you've committed to the role of being dreary,
there is no joy. You just can't.
Oh, beautiful apex jump. You know, I've learned as a solo blocker, it is impossible to block an apex jump. You just need to get your friends there with you.
It's true. And rounding out that jam with a nice little bean dip as well on the outside. A 20-point jam, the biggest one we've seen so far. Small Goths are at 41 to Nerds 18. And if you want to up your roller derby skills, go ahead and check out Roller Derby Athletics. The Roller Derby Athletics app delivers off-skates training to help skaters get stronger, faster, and fitter so you can do apex jumps too.
I spy number 200 Pandemic on the line up against number 13 Kitty. Small Goths working hard to contain Kitty in the back of the pack, and similar work happening by the Nerds up front. Both jammers are still struggling to find their way through. Got a little run back here on Kitty. But it looks like Pandemic has scored lead jammer with a bit of an impact and fall over on the first apex, but they recovered nicely and are looking for points. I spy a nerd pivot reporting to the penalty box.
All right, we got Nerds on their initial.
And that jam is called. 4 points for Goths, holding Nerds scoreless. Score now, 45 Goths, Nerds 18.
Another shout out to one of our sponsors, S1 Helmets and Pads, the S1 Lifer Visor Helmet, next level protection, so you can keep your little nose and eyes safe out there too.
All right, we got number 00 Mage for the Goths up against number 8 for the Nerds. Both jammers getting run back, both coming in with speed, looking for a path through. Lead is awarded to number 8 of the Nerds. But it's a jammer foot race over here. Will we see any jammer on jammer action? I don't know.
Not this time. Maybe next time.
You know, I was a nerd in high school, and I'm not sure that I would have engaged in physical contact with a mall goth as a teenager.
That's fair. I was an emo in high school, so adjacent to the mall goth. Yeah. Could have been friends. I think it would have worked out.
Number 293 of the Nerds, Roxy Foxidation as our jammer, and it's Goths with lead jammer status, and that is number 79, snagging lead, and I did not quite catch their name.
Nerds making it through for 4 points. Hard hits out there and calling this jam off.
Goths decided to risk not calling that jam before the other team could score a point, and their gamble didn't turn out so bad. It looks like 4 points to the Nerds, 3 points to Goths, and with the lead they've got there, that's not a bad outcome for them.
Not at all, and we're seeing some good hits, hard falls out there, and that's why it's important to have great quality gear, TSG, helmets and pads, protective gear that constantly raises the bar in terms of style, comfort, design, technology, and above all, safety.
Number 25, grabbing lead jammer status with a nice little run up the inside line for the Goths.
Got one nerd going to the box.
And Kitty is the jammer of record for the Nerds this jam. But it looks like Goths are going to call it off before she has a chance to score any points. I like this nice wide stance to hold the back line here for the Nerds. But they decide that actually we don't want it. We just want it to be in your way.
Nice little trick there. I like your suspenders.
We've got number 8 on the line for the Nerds, and number 1414 Kid Radical on the line for Goths. Oh, and it's Jammers out fast. But number 8 of the Nerds is being sent to the penalty box for a track cut, which means Kid Radical has lead.
And we're in a power jam.
Lots of movement and hitting in that pack, but Kid Radical manages to push their way through and snag 4 points. All 4 blockers going in for offense to try to get Kid Radical through, but the Nerds managed to snag and hold them, at least momentarily over there on turn 3.
We've got the Nerds Jammer out of the box now.
A little bit of a run back, but I'm not sure that will turn out in everyone's favor. Jammers really like to have a lot of speed coming into the pack. Nice little spin move on the inside by Kid Radical to get out. And that's the jam. Tidy little 8-point power jam for the Mall Goths.
We're at jam number 13 here. And we've got lead jammer for the Nerds. I think it's been a few jams since they've got lead, so good job, Nerds. That's number 293 with lead, Rusty Foxidation. Now had a star pass, though, to the Mall Goths Pivot, 88. All right, and Nerds are going to call that off with 3 points.
And we've got Kitty back on the line for the Nerds up against Ukulele. Funny fact, I do play the ukulele, so I adore this name. A little jammer on jammer action here at the back of the pack. Kitty trying to pin Ukulele down to set up their blockers, but that does not pay off. Instead, Kitty was being held by the Mall Goths, and Mall Goths get lead.
Got Kitty out now, coming around. Penalty box is empty.
Ukulele out with 4 points. Kitty is also scoring points. But it looks like the Mall Goths are going to run this one a little bit long.
Talked about that penalty box being clear, and here we are.
That was a forearm penalty going to Nerds blocker that was out in front trying to contain Ukulele.
Hey, we love all of our RollerCon volunteers, announcers, officials, especially the medics, everybody who helps make the magic happen. So if you've got a free hour and you want to help out, we love it. Check in with VCI to volunteer for any amount of time.
Looks like number 1-4 Activist back on the line for Mall Goths up against Nerds number 8. The lead has been awarded to the Nerds, number 8.
Looks like maybe some recycling happened, so they're stuck there at the back of the pack in that tripod of Goths.
But Activist very sneakily slid out of the pack and came around for points.
Nice awareness on the outside line for jammer number 8, Nerds.
I'm seeing bench to track communication happening, but all right. There we have it. The call off that the nerds were looking for. Ending that jam, 12 points Small Goths, 4 points Nerds.
You're playing a lot of roller derby while you're here, getting lots of skate time. You might want to check out WFTDI Wellness and Body Breakdown. WFTDI Wellness supports athletes' performance, recovery, focus, and longevity by promoting physical, mental, and emotional health. I stopped by there. They wrapped up my ankle for me, gave me a little rub down. It was great.
We've got Rusty Foxidation on the line for the Nerds, but lead jammer status has been awarded to number 86 of the Mall Goths. And I cannot quite read their name, and they're not on my roster, so apologies, number 86. I do not know your name. Quick call off there, and we see 1 point awarded to the Nerds, and looks like 3 points going to the Mall Goths. That's correct. I also got my jammed thumb wrapped up over at the WFTDI booth, so can recommend. And I have a massage scheduled for tomorrow that I'm very excited about.
Oh, very nice. Right, looks like we've got lead for the Mall Goths jammer, number 88.
The jersey says bug, so I'm going to go with that.
All right.
Up against Kitty Catatonic, number 13 of the Nerds. Nice little hop on the inside. Scores the Nerds 4 points stolen as that just before that jam was called off.
Yeah, looks like there was a little pile up on the outside line, and Kitty just snuck right in on the inside, so good track awareness.
Nice 4-4 jam there. All right, I see number 380 Concealed Carry lining up for the Mall Goths, and number 314 for the Nerds.
I are scared. I love that name. Love a good pun, especially a nerdy one. Are all puns nerdy? Is that just like what a pun is?
Some of them are dad jokes,
yes,
which may or may not be nerdy.
Signaling for some offense to get through.
Quick call off there. Very nice work holding the Mall Goths scoreless. That's 4 points for the Nerds. Probably are scared, bringing those back to their bench. High fives going on over there. Love to see the celebration. I see number 25 lined up for the Mall Goths. That's Storm up against Rusty Foxidation for the Nerds. Nerds working hard to contain Storm. Got some runbacks happening in the back. Storm is dancing along the outside line.
Both jammers being held still. Lots of recycling happening in this jam here.
And it's Rusty Foxidation coming up with no.
Oh.
I thought it was lead jammer status, but instead we have a jammer switcheroo happening in the penalty box. 2 penalties assessed to our Mall Goths jammer, so the Nerds jammer reports in and gets immediately released, canceling out one of those 2 penalties, sent out onto the track.
And I do believe this is our first 2-minute jam of the game.
And that was still the initial pass for Rusty Foxidation because they netted that penalty on the initial. Similar here for Storm, completing their initial pass. Rusty Foxidation getting run back here on the outside line, and Storm sent back to the penalty box for a cut, giving the Nerds an opportunity here for a power jam. There was a successful star pass to number 7-1 of the Nerds, and they do make it out of the pack for 4 points.
Sometimes in those 2-minute jams, even if you've been scoring points, you're getting kind of tired. It's nice to have everybody help you out and get some of those points at the end of the jam. Good teamwork there. Also, has anyone stopped by Roller Revival yet? They've got a great booth. They have new roller derby graphic tees, stickers, pins, and patches. I bought one of their shirts last year. I might get another one here too.
I see a score like that coming out of a 2-minute jam, and that's a huge kudos to the blockers on the track. They were out there putting in the work all 2 minutes long to contain those jammers.
Yes, they were.
I do believe that's Kitty out there with lead jammer status for the Nerds. Storm is back on the track from the penalty box, but it looks like lead has been lost because Kitty was just sent to the box for a back block.
I guess everybody really loved that last 2-minute jam, so
let's have another one.
Let's do it again.
A little trouble happening for the Goths. We've got 2 blockers in the penalty box, or on their way to the penalty box, making it harder for them to take advantage of Kitty's penalty here.
Really doing their best, though, playing some good offense.
Kitty is back on the track and putting up points, but so is Storm, free of the pack and looking for more.
Nice hit the inside by the white pivot.
That's number 302, Ian Malcontent. Nerds really taking advantage of this opportunity. Looks like we've got 12 points so far on the board for them.
Nice little apex hop there from Kitty. It looks like might be ending that jam with the jammer in the box. Power start here for the Nerds.
So that jam, 16 points to the Nerds, 4 points to the Goths, 66 total points for the Nerds. Goths 91. Goths still leading, but looks like the Nerds are trying to edge down that that gap, and they do snag lead pretty quickly here off the whistle.
Yeah, this is a good opportunity to continue to close that gap a little.
We've got number 713, Betray You, jamming for the Nerds. We haven't seen Betray You on the line for them yet.
And we've got 200 Pandemic back into the pack.
Looks like Pandemic subbed in to the penalty box for the Goths. But there is another jammer penalty. Lead has been lost. Betray You is in the penalty box.
Is this our third 2-minute jam in a row?
It is.
Oh my.
Is that on the bingo cards? The officials have a bingo card game going.
Oh yeah, every 15 minutes, right? 30 minutes?
No, there's I think it's at one of the skate shops has bingo, but the officials also are playing bingo.
Ah, okay. I hope it is on their bingo card.
There were things like jammers hug before the jam starts. No pack happens is your freebie.
Because obviously.
Both walls working really hard to slow down and contain these jammers.
Working really hard. Shout out to the defense right now.
And that's 2 minutes, as well as the period clock expiring. We've got 4 points on the board for the Nerds, 10 points that jam for the Malgoths, bringing us to an unofficial total of 70 points Nerds, 101 Malgoths.
The Nerds did a really great job of coming back, and that's not a big point differential at all. Great work from both teams, and really just into, ending that with 2-minute jams in a row.
Big shout out to our official volunteers out here. Thank you all for your dedication and your time making this game happen for the Nerds and the Malgoths. I enjoyed myself. Thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you all. See you later.